In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to change the default world and the default game mode for the project whenever you load it up. So what this means is whenever you load up a project, you might be familiar with it loading up, for instance, if you've got the third person template in your game, so I've got the third and first person. If I've got the third person map, if I've created the project with the third person template, it will always load up this map by default. But if you've got, let's say, a custom world, so I've got this hello world, if you've got this custom one that you wanting it to load up just by default, so if you've got it inside of a folder structure, that's a bit annoying to have to go to every time you load up the project. What you can do something to change this so it opens this by default rather than the template map. So if we go to edit, then project settings, so you might be familiar with this with the input stuff, you might have covered that, but in the maps and modes, so near the top, maps and modes, we can see a couple of things that we can change. So to start off with, edit a startup map. This is the one when you load up the Unreal Engine project, where it loads up this, edit a startup will change the map that it loads up by default. So currently it's the third person map, which is the template map. But if I change it to hello world, hello level, which is this world here, it then, whenever I load up a map, it will load this one up instead. This game default map, this is when you create a working game from this project. So obviously, if you were to release this on Steam or something like that, it obviously wouldn't load up this project, it will load up an actual game. So this is what happens when you make it into an actual game. So it's a good practice to change both of them. But if you have specific needs, so if you've got like a editor like cheat level that you don't want the player to be able to do, but you want it on edit startup, you can load it up there. Another thing, so default game mode. So with this, I've made this project with the third person template. So by default, when I play it, I've got the third person here. But let's say I've got halfway into production and I feel that I want the first person in instead. So if I do add feature and content, but I've already got the first person, but you just click one of these, press add to project, and it'd add it. So I've got the first person blueprint here now. What I can do, I can change this to BP first person game mode from third person, and then when I play it now, it starts as the first person character. So if I open this, so all I need to do is change that. If you're wanting a specific level to have a different game mode though, there's a way to do that. So you need to open up world settings, but it won't be there by default. So what you need to do, settings in the top right, if you click that, you'll see one at the top called world settings. Once we've got this, you can see game mode override. So if you've got a specific level where you want a different mode of play, so you're doing the whole level, the whole game as third person, but you're wanting to have a funky level that has first person. So what you can do, you can override whatever the project settings is. So if we look at which one we have currently, so we've got first person game mode here. So if I then put this to third person, it overrides whatever that setting is. So we've got this here. If I put that back to none, so it won't override anything, it's first person. Okay, so these are a few ways to change the level, the project by default to load up the level that you want, and if you wanted to change the game mode as well.